So in today's video, what we're going to do is going to talk about my own golf swing, and particularly going to try and prioritize this sort of pivoting action and how I move my sort of lower body throughout the swing. It's a really important thing that we understand how to move correctly, and hopefully that you should be able to, from the back of this video, understand visually what you're looking for, but also from like a feeling perspective what you're looking for. Now, with all of my online students, I'm pretty much advocating now that we need some sort of foot wedge to practice on. You can buy, some students have been buying them on Amazon, like a yoga foot wedge. Other students have been buying the Wedge Pro. Some have been buying Callaway Golf Do one. I'm not concerned where you get it from, but I do think you'll need it. The reason why you'll need it, and the reason why I think it's so important, is because of two things. One, it elevates your foot up in the air, okay? So it keeps the trail leg more flexed. That's a big thing. And the second one, it's sort of tilted. So it sort of pronates the foot and it gives you more of a platform to turn into. Again, that's going to be a real key thing. So what am I looking for in the start of the downswing is also going to be heavily reliant on what am I looking for in the backswing. In the backswing position, the big thing that is happening is my trail leg is trying to stay flexed. Okay, now inevitably my leg is going to straighten, meaning it is going to kind of straighten, meaning the distance between my hip and my ankle line is going to increase through the rotational movement. But the difference between allowing it to straighten and consciously straightening are two significantly different things. So what I am trying to do is I'm trying to keep that trail leg flexed. Again, the main reason why you are trying to use the foot wedge. Now, when you keep this trail leg flexed and you start to rotate in that backswing position, and you can do this whilst trying to keep your head still, is you should start to do a couple of things. One, you should start to get a lot of interaction with the ground. So you should really feel like your foot is being pushed down in towards the floor. And then also, because you're sort of rotating into the leg, you should start to feel an element of activation in the glute. Those are big things, because the first moving towards my downswing position is once I've established the backswing, is I am going to rotate in towards my lead side. And the feeling for this is very much a left hip back motion, not a right hip forward motion. So as I start my downswing, I'm thinking about getting, if you like, in towards my sort of lead ankle line, like so. Now this type of motion encourages a few things. One, the consciousness of sort of shifting the weight allows me to move linear, so it allows me to move towards my left side. That's a key thing. But also the consciousness of trying to pull the left hip back and concentrating more on the weight getting towards the heel helps me retain hip depth from the side-on perspective. Both of those things are massive in the golf swing. But a lot of golfers that I meet tend to struggle where they sort of fire off the trail leg a little bit too soon, and this makes you sort of stand up. Understanding how to keep that leg flexed and then use, if you like, that weight pressure to progressively move into the lead side gives you the ability to stay down over the golf ball. And that's a key thing really as you're coming in towards this initial start. So I would swing up, and then as I start the downswing, like I say, what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep my head pretty still, and I'm just going to pull my lead hip back and allow my weight to shift in towards that lead ankle line. That's the feeling. And this is going to give me loads of space for my hands and arms to come down into, similar to what I'm demonstrating here. So it's not this, it's this, okay? Now, for myself, very naturally, but for many of you, probably not so much, as I am then pulling this lead hip back, you want to simultaneously allow your upper arm to move down towards the side of your body. This type of motion here. This is going to be, again, a real key move coming in towards the start of the downswing position into this sort of position here. Okay. Now, what would happen is obviously a lot of this stuff is now happening very fast. So as I sort of hit some shots, let me just hit a couple here for a moment. Obviously, I would have strong feelings for the backswing, and I would also have strong feelings for the start of the downswing because they're not happening too fast. They're happening within a state of consciousness. Okay, so I can feel whether I need to exaggerate that movement more or potentially whether I need to change that feeling ever so slightly, and I can be aware of those things. What happens though, I'm going to do my best to summarize this because I think this is the area again that's the big difference between sort of elitist, very good golfers and less so, is introducing this athleticism. So what would happen is I would obviously have moved like so, and then I would continue to rotate. So as I continue to rotate, see the way my hands continue to progress over the ball like so. Now, you will get to a stage at some point in the golf swing, or you should get to a stage in the point in the golf swing, where you basically feel like you've put that much weight underneath your lead foot in that rotational manner that you've basically sort of almost feel like you've immobilized in and around the hip. You should feel quite stuck. And that's fine, because that means, again, you're using the ground. And that's the thing that we tend to see with very elitist golfers, is how quickly they sort of swing back and how quickly they shift that pressure down in towards the floor in the start of this downswing position, like so. And then from here, you see, because I've now got that lead leg loaded, I can't continue to rotate. So what would happen is you would start to push off the leg. So my lead leg would then start to straighten. And as my lead leg starts to straighten, it almost pushes all that energy off my lead side backwards as it allows me to extend my arms through the ball. So that would be the thing that's quite tricky to sort of teach. But I do think it's the sort of thing that, in terms of when it comes to the hip rotation, it's really important to sort of understand that if you're somebody who is struggling and you sort of look a little this way in this impact area, well, fundamentally the reason for that is, one, because obviously your arms aren't applying enough force outward, but that's also probably contributed to the fact that your body's not moving back enough, like so, to extend those arms really through. But equally, that's not materializing because you're not moving well enough in transition. So that's why I would strongly suggest, and again with all my online students and people part of my online academy, we all practice using the foot wedge. And you can do it in the downswing. And again, this will just teach you to really get the feeling of applying pressure under there. And then you can push off and extend your arms through. So, like I said, I hope this video helps in terms of, as I hit some shots, when I'm doing a practice swing, obviously the level of activation is much more because I'm moving much slower, and I'm obviously also sort of holding these positions much longer than I would in a real swing. But again, to confirm, the trail leg stays flexed. I feel an activation in the glute. I then move that over towards that lead side, and then from there I feel that push back. And doing all of those things is what helps me get that recognition for that sort of feeling of, if you like, effortless, to agree, effortless speed in terms of moving right, left, back. But like I say, for most of the students that I meet, if you are aware that you don't move back and through enough, I'd double check your backswing and I would double check your start to the downswing first. Because if those two positions are lacking, then you're never going to really be able to achieve that impact position you want. Hopefully this helps. See you soon.